you may try. And after months of preparation, bearing in mind this king, this Sulaiman alayhi salam, he ruled over each and everything. Allah gave him kingdomship over everything on this planet. Such a kingdom he was given. He could speak to the jinns, the birds, all the animals you see around you, he could speak to them. He was the king of everyone. After months of preparation, he said to Allah, "Oh Allah, I am ready." And Allah sent one bird from the sea. One fish from the sea. One fish he sent. And the fish came out and he ate all the food. All that months of preparation, he ate in one luqma. He ate the whole lot. And then he said to Sulaiman alayhi salam, "O Sulaiman, because you insisted to provide for me today, I will be hungry. My Allah feeds me like this twice every day." This is one fish. What we see is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What we do not see is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. My brothers and elders, we need to bring this belief into our hearts. This is called La ilaha illallah. The second part of this kalima, Muhammadur Rasulullah. We need to bring this belief into our hearts that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept success in the way shown by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. His sunnah is the only way to success. Every other way, each and every single other way will lead to failure. You following the example of anyone other than Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, you will fail. And if you take the example of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, you will be successful in this world and in the hereafter. That person that has nothing in this world, but he has iman and he has the sunnah in his life, he will die a successful man. But that person who has everything in this world but has no iman and dies without the sunnah, without iman, he will die unsuccessful. We see time and time again Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentions in the Quran. Why? For us to take lesson from this, for us to take ibrat from this. He mentions the story, the waqi'ah of Pharaoh, who was sent to him. Musa alayhi salam was sent to him. Musa and Harun. He was the only person who declared himself as God. As Allah himself, he declared. He had everything in this world. He had such power when he heard the prophecy that Musa alayhi salam, that a man will come from his people, from amongst the people, and he will destroy him. He had such power that he sent his soldiers around all of Egypt and killed every single baby boy that was born. This was the power he used to have. He ruled most of the world at his time. But when he died, what did he die? He died unsuccessful. When Musa alayhi salam and his people were running, Fir'aun's army behind him, the sea in front of him, what did Musa do? The people, they got scared. They were afraid. "Oh Musa, what have you done? What are we going to do now?" And Musa alayhi salam, he prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah said, "Hit the ground with your staff." He hit the sea with your staff. He hit the sea, and he said the sea split into 12 pathways for the 12 tribes of Musa alayhi salam's people, and all the people of Musa alayhi salam escaped through the sea. But when Fir'aun came, he saw the power of Allah, and yet he did not bring iman. He chased him through that same sea. And he said when Fir'aun and his army went through the sea, the sea swallowed him. The sea swallowed him. Why? Because he disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He had everything of this world, but he did not have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's iman on Allah, and he did not have the sunnah. he did not bring Iman on Musa. What happened to him? He died unsuccessful. Again, the story of Qarun. Who was he? Such a successful person. He was given such wealth. His treasury is mentioned in the Quran. They were carried by the camels. His keys to the treasury, to his treasury, were carried by camels. Today, how much wealth do we have? Our keys can fit in our pocket. But he had such wealth that they had to be carried by the camels. And what happened to him? He disobeyed Allah. He did not bring Iman on Allah. What happened to him? The earth swallowed him. Abu Jahl. Who was he? He opposed Islam so much at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is said he used to say to the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that I have been feeding a horse, a very healthy horse, and one day I will ride on the back of this horse and I will kill you. Na'udhu billah. And one day the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied, Insha'Allah, I will kill you. So the battlefield came. Abu Jahl ran around looking for Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, saying, if I do not find Muhammad today, I am a failure. And he caught sight of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he raced towards him on that very horse that he had been feeding, that he had been tending to. And the Sahaba Ajma'een, they made a plan to kill Abu Jahl before he could reach the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he prohibited them to do so. He let Abu Jahl come closer, riding on his horse. And he took a spear from the Sahaba when he came, one of his Sahabi, when he came close, and he threw it at Abu Jahl, making a slight scrape on his neck. Abu Jahl, he fell off the horse and started crying and ran towards his camp. And his people tried to console him, saying, Oh Abu Jahl, it is only a minor scratch. You will be okay. And he would say, do you know who has caused this scratch? This scratch? No other than Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He swore by Lat and Uzza, if Muhammad was just to spit on me, I would be no more. This, who is he? He's a kuffar. He opposed Islam, and yet he has such belief in Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Abu Sufyan at the time, who had not accepted Islam, who was still a kafir, he made fun of him. He said, Oh Abu Jahl, you are crying like a baby for just a scratch. And Abu Jahl said to him, I swear by Allah, if this pain was to be distributed all over Mecca, between all the people of Mecca, none of them will be no more. This was the belief even the kuffar at the time had in Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And today, we say we follow the sunnah, we say we love Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, yet what is our behavior? What is our appearance? What is our characteristics? How is it that we deal with the people? This is not the sunnah. How is it that we can profess to love Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam when our outward appearance, forget our inside appearance, even our outward appearance is nothing of that? The Sahaba Ajma'een, who were they? Who was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent to? He was sent to a tribe called the Quraysh. They were such ignorant people, they used to bury their daughters alive. They used to do tawaf of the Kaaba naked. It is said at that time there were approximately 360 idols inside the haram. There were such people that the last words of a father to his son before he died was to take revenge on such a person. Why? Just because that person's camel drank from his well. Such ignorance was amongst these people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. These were such people that neither the Roman Empire nor the Persian Empire wanted to rule over them. But after the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was sent to them, those people who brought Iman, who did they become? They became radiyallahu anhum wa radu an. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala declares that I am pleased with them and they are pleased with me. They became the likes of Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu. Who is Abu Bakr? He became the Khalifa. He succeeded the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam as leader of the Muslims after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam died. Who is Abu Bakr? Such a person the Prophet ﷺ used to say to the nearest meaning that I have repaid, I have compensated every person for whatever they have helped me with, but that what Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu has helped me, no other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will repay him. Who was Abu Bakr? On the day of judgment, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be angry with the people because of their sins, Abu Bakr will be presented and Allah's anger will be cooled down. Who is Abu Bakr? It is said there are 8 doors of paradise. Every single one of those doors will call the name of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. They became the likes of Umar radiallahu anhu. Who was Umar? At first, he was one of those who opposed Islam as well. He went out. The Quraysh, they had a meeting. Who will kill Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? And Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, who had not yet accepted Islam, he opted out. He said, I will do it. And everyone said, surely, Umar, you can do it. And he went out, sword in hand, to kill the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This was who Abu Bakr, Umar radiallahu anhu was. But who did he become after accepting Islam? It is said at the time of his Khalifa, he ruled 2/3 of the world. 2/3 of the world. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because they obeyed Allah, because they kept the dunya in their hands and the deen in their hearts, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made everything musakhar for them, made the world musakhar for them. Who was Umar radiallahu anhu? The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he used to say during the nearest meeting that if a prophet was to come after me, it would be Umar radiallahu anhu, Umar bin Khattab, it would be him. It is said on one occasion during the Khalifa Umar radiallahu anhu, he was going up a hill with his Sahaba and he looked down at a place, and in some riwayat he cried and in others he smiled. And his Sahaba Ajma'een, they asked him, O Amir al-Mu'mineen, what makes you smile? And he said, there was a time when I was a boy and I used to herd sheep in that place. And my relatives used to say to me, Oh Umar, you cannot even herd sheep properly. What will you be when you grow up? And it is said, he said, I was the lowest of people in this world at that time. And who did he become? He ruled 2/3 of the world, and he said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has elevated my status to such an extent that I have become the best of people. The likes of Bilal al-Habshi. Who was he? He was a black Abyssinian slave. He was the lowest in the hierarchy that existed at the time. But who did he become? Because he believed in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he brought iman and Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Who did he become? He said he was tortured to such an extent that he would be laid down on the burning sand, and a heavy rock was placed on his chest, and he would lie there. On another occasion, he would be dragged through the streets by the street urchins. He would be whipped so much that the person who was whipping him would get tired and they would take turns. But what did he say? Ahad, the one Allah. Ahad, the one Allah. And who did he become? He became the mu'adhin of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the mu'adhin of Masjid al-Nabawi, the first mu'adhin. That was the status that was given to him after he brought iman. Why? Because he obeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said on one occasion, it was Fajr time, and the Sahaba, and Bilal radiallahu anhu, he used to have a lisp. He couldn't pronounce the S properly. He had a lisp. And the Sahaba ajma'in, they told him, "Oh Bilal, someone else will do adhan today." And they agreed. Someone else did adhan for Fajr Salah. And it said the sun was not rising for a long time. The Prophet ﷺ, he got worried. Why is the sun not rising? He said that Jibreel alayhi salam, he came to Rasulullah ﷺ, and he said to him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, till Bilal calls the adhan for Fajr, the sun will not rise. This is the status that was given to the people because they obeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. On another occasion, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was doing suhoor and he was eating. And Bilal radiallahu anhu, he came and he said, "O Prophet of Allah, the time for suhoor is finished." And he went away. He came again and he saw the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam still eating. And he said, "O Prophet of Allah, the time for suhoor is finished." And he left again. And he came back to see the Prophet ﷺ is still eating. And he was about to put a luqma in his mouth. And Bilal radiallahu anhu said, "By Allah, O Prophet of Allah, by Allah, the time for suhoor is finished." And the Prophet ﷺ took that down and he left it. He did not eat it. And he said, "O Bilal," to the nearest meaning, "O Bilal, the time for suhoor was not finished. But because Bilal swore by Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala finished the time for suhoor." This was the status that was given to the people. Again, the likes of Ali radiallahu anhu. He went on an errand for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to some distant place, and he had not prayed his Asr Salah. And on his way back, he saw that the sun was setting, and the time for Maghrib was near. And he prayed, "Oh Allah, I am doing an errand for your Prophet. Do not let the sun set till I have offered my Asr Salah." And it is said, the sun is stopped halfway. And it is stayed in that position till Ali radiallahu anhu had offered his Asr Salah. Such was the status that was given to him, to the people, after they brought iman on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and believed in Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Again, on another occasion, it is said about Salman Farsi radiallahu anhu. He had such a character. He was loved by the people so much that the Ansar and the Muhajirin, they were fighting over who did Salman Farsi belong to? Did he belong to the Ansar? Did he belong to Muhajirin? And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he came and he said, "Let me settle it. Salman Farsi is amongst the Ahlul Bayt, amongst the people, amongst the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam." Such was the status that was given to them. It says Salman Farsi radiallahu anhu, he was made Amir of a place called Madanai. A place called Madanai. And the crime rate in Madanai was very high at night time. The crime rate was very high in the night. In the dead of night, people used to indulge in all sorts of various dark deeds. So Salman Farsi, what did he do? He went to the jungle and he said the nearest meaning, I am Amirul Mu'mineen, and I order that you are the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I order that you patrol the streets of Madanai at night. And it is said from the night afterwards, the people saw the lions and the tigers were patrolling the streets of Madanai. So what does this show?